It is showtime. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. Let me do the. Can I do this? So we will get started here. If you have any questions, watercolor related or whatever related, feel free to ask them. I do want to share with you some stuff as well, some paintings, works in progress. So I will. I got most of them ready, but I just want to make sure I find this. Let me know if there's any issues with the audio. You know, the usual deal. It's been a long week, man. It's been a long week, and I don't know why. I'm getting tired really easily in these last couple of weeks. Um, I did start working a little harder, I think. But yeah, let me see here. So I want to bring up these two files and show you. I'm working on a really nice painting that I think you'll appreciate. It's almost a variation on an existing painting, which is always fun. But it's with a couple of differences you'll see. But I guess, how are you doing? Let me know in the chat. Hope you're doing well. Oh yeah, I have actually two cool photos of that to show you. And yeah, okay. So hey, Sujanith, how are you? Thank you for being here. Hey, Jan's Art. Same here. Really was looking forward to this one. My name. Hope you're doing well. Have a good day yourself. John, how are you? Hope you're doing well too. I sent you a message finally today. I don't remember. I think it was a small update. Hey, Buck. Hope you're doing well. Pascaline, how are you? Kumar, how are you doing? Will be great if you can talk about money aspect of watercolor business. Yeah, definitely. We can do that. Ask specific questions. It's a big, big topic. I'll be happy to talk about that. Hey, Amy. Hey, Amy, how are you doing? Um, Hope you're all well too. Hey, Pam. Happy to see you here with your coffee ready to go. I have my coffee too, by the way. So yeah, I it's rare for me to drink 2 cups of coffee a day. I usually go just with one, but sometimes in the live streams I enjoy it. Hey Daiji, my friend, how are you doing? Getting ready for work? Awesome, awesome. Yeah, you can get ready while listening in, and then drop out whenever you want to. One more photo I want to share with you, and then just a second, I'm uploading them. So this is what I just sent myself from my phone. Yeah, I've been feeling really good about my paintings lately. I think it's kind of um, a golden age that hopefully will never end and continue to infinity. But I've been feeling really good about my work lately, and super pleased with it. I feel like there was a big, big kind of growth spurt there. Um, and it cannot be attributed to menial things like practice and technique. It's something else. We'll talk about that if you want to later. Hey Nancy, hope you're doing well from freezing Akron, Ohio. Probably, yes. Thank you for being here. Here it's really nice. Barely any rain. We had rain for a couple of days, and that's pretty much it. Now let me view the stream on YouTube. Just make sure there's no issues or anything. Good. Good. Okay, I'm gonna move my entire browser window to this side and bring the live stream here. Alexa, hey, how are you doing? Absolutely love the Eyal's portrait you posted today. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I have it here. I'll share it with you live here. I wanted to read Paula's message too. Good morning to you too. Hope you're doing well. Uh, yes, so that's one of the things I want to show you. I'll also share the scan here, but this is the one. If you want to see it in real life, there we go. So yeah, I'm quite happy with it. I don't know why. It's one of those paintings that I really feared before getting into, and then I don't know why my chair is uncomfortable. I really feared going into, and then things just clicked. I actually started from him from the main focal point there. Um, Painted Eyal and then the background. That was a smart decision, I think. Sometimes I find that if I just go for the thing that interests me the most about the scene, it is very rewarding. Sometimes I like to postpone it and kind of build things up in the background, but I don't know. It's just a matter of mood, I guess. Thank you so much, Kumar. Very happy. It's noticeable. Teresa is here. How are you doing? Good morning to you too. Cam C. Hey, Liron. Hope you're well made from Australia. Thank you for being here. What time is it now in Australia? Let me see. Time. Let's go with Sydney. Okay, it is one. Is that what one is it? Is that one at night? Let me know. I mean, I sneezed while typing. If I had $10 for every sneeze, I'd make rent for February. Yep, yep. That's me on allergy season. Now I'm good. I don't have much sneezes. If I have this, I was sick for a couple of days. A couple of weeks ago. Once I have that, I'm good for a month or two at least. No sneezing, barely any here and there. Um, thank you so much. Hey Joshua, how are you doing? Diane, hi Liron, greetings from very sunny but cold day in the UK. Oh, nice, nice. I love the UK. I visited London once. I want to go again. Or the countryside, not just London. Pascaline, which video would you suggest for first painting? Oh, like if you want to just follow along. I mean, any process will do. I think if you can find something that really talks to you as if you're crazy. This probably I should probably say speak to you, right? If you find something that actually speaks to you, that would be ideal. Whatever it is, actually, a recent video comes to mind, the one out on Saturday with the tree and the landscape. That's a great one because it's relatively simple. You can play around with shapes of trees. I have a short of that process too, if you want to just check it out real quick. Yeah, okay, so it's 1 a.m. Awesome, awesome. So you're up late, or up early. Let me know that getting up at 1 a.m. is crazy. So yeah, I think whatever really compels you to paint would be best. Ideally, I would paint my own photos. Honestly, if you're just getting started, I mean, you can follow tutorials. If it's your first painting, you can do whatever you want. It really doesn't matter as much. But I would definitely at some point try painting something that means something to me. Like, for example, this one that I just showed you definitely means something to me. I just took it actually a week or two ago. We met somewhere um, and another friend, and we just sat there. It was fun, chill, and then I was like, "Oh, the light is really interesting, and I need more scenes from interiors because I love them." And then I took the photo, and yep, this is one of the specific crops. I can probably produce another two or three, another one or two paintings from the same reference. Honestly, um, yeah, Akron group here. Paula, I love the painting you just showed. Your restaurant paintings have such an interesting quality. Thank you. Yeah, they seem to be very liked by many people. Here it is, just the scan. So this, I don't know if you'll be able to see my hand right here. So I have a much more zoomed out version of this photo. And I could probably definitely focus on different areas of the restaurant and just produce other paintings from them, which is something I like doing often. I find it fun. There's way too many mosquitoes here, and then they bite me. So, see it on the camera. Be gone. Yeah, I got it. I really dislike them. But in any case, hey, Hesiho, how are you doing? Good boy. Hello. Salam alaikum. It took me a moment to understand what I'm reading. Nancy G, because it was just all in one word. Let's see here. My name. I often paint along with your videos. Thank you. Yeah, and I think you could paint whatever I'm painting or paint your own thing and just listen to my video, which is also fun. Betsheva Bernard. I'm Betsheva from India. Just thank you for sharing. Yeah, thank you for being here. So, Janith, is it okay to paint your reference photo in your link? I'm not selling anyway. Yeah, I mean, if I link it with a tutorial, of course, feel free to paint away. I'm not going to come chasing after you. Usually, you'll notice that for the paintings that I put, let's say, on a higher pedestal, I tend not to share the reference photo sometimes at all. Sometimes I'll share it, just show it in a small version or something like that, or a comparison on Instagram. That's because for these paintings that are more dear to me, I won't want other people to paint them. But if it's a tutorial and the reference photo is there, you have my permission for sure. For this one, you won't find a reference photo. I'm not going to share it, just as an example. For this one as well, you won't find it. I'm going to show it to you here live, but I'm not going to share it as a tutorial. So if it's a tutorial, for sure. Nancy, cool painting, Liron. How is your auction going? Yeah, it's done. It was on the 13th. Saturday, January the 13th. I filmed a video and I will post it. It's going to be next week. Tuesday, the 23rd. I have a video lined up, January 13th, the auction recap. So I'll talk a bit about it. It was a very interesting experience. It was a roller coaster with lots of ups and downs. I will give you a quick tease for the video itself. I broke a record, so to speak. I sold a painting for the highest price so far, which I'm very, very proud of. The highest I've sold so far. It sounds way more impressive in my local currency, but it is very impressive in USD as well. So it's funny. A couple of paintings I thought would sell for sure did not even sell, but most of them sold. A couple I was sure will sell did not sell. A couple I thought deserved more sold for less, but this one painting that you can probably guess which one sold for a wonderful price. I'm super happy with it, and it's probably my best work so far. So yeah, so the person who got that, I'm super grateful for, and I think it was a very smart choice. Let's say. Christine, Maryland, USA here. Thank you for being here. Vixelnix, hey all, happy to have you here a little earlier than last time, because last time it was my fault. I started early. Because this time it's not a painting stream really, so it's okay. You know, if the light moves away, you'll just see my glaring face with the monitor's light. I love the profile picture too, by the way, the dog with the glasses. That's cool. That's very kind of you, Liron. You're an excellent teacher. Oh, thank you. Joshua, what inspires your choice of subjects and color palettes in your watercolor creations? You know, I would say color palettes is more, I'm trying to be kind of true to the source. You can see this with another painting, by the way, that I did not upload here. Let me add that as we talk, because I think it's a good one for explaining the point. And I think a lot of people really liked it. So it was this one. I'll show it in a second. I aim usually for somewhat of realism in the colors, unless I feel like sometimes it's a hassle to match all the colors. So this is the one I was talking about. The colors are just true to life. I didn't really change anything. Very happy with how the trees. By the way, the two people you see here, I actually took 3 photos of this scene, like fast. So snapped them one after the other, and the two people kind of moved across the scene, and I used all 3, merged them into one photo that has the people at the most advantageous spot. I did not catch the 2 people in this exact spot. I actually edited it so that they are there. So I would say most of the time I do aim to match the colors I see. Sometimes if it's a hassle, if it's a very bright scene, it's very hard to match them. I'll just go with the feel of temperature. So if something's warm, I'll just throw in a couple of warm colors there and hope I'm close enough. Now, one thing you have to understand is even if you're not trying to match the colors, if you have this specific color palette you're using and you are reacting to what you see, you will still usually get a harmonious look because the painting works within the world you created. See what I mean? Within the color palette you're using, that's usually a little limited, you can often produce very nice harmonious paintings. So yeah. That's what I would say. Christine, you give simple and clear instructions. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. It shouldn't be any, vague. Even though a lot of my videos lately are a little more vague, just because I find that specific advice is really useless for most people. Besides the very basic minimum of how water and paint behave, what people need more is that ability to click with their inspiration, and then everything becomes so much easier. But yeah. Yes, I will share more about that, Nancy. Thank you. Jan's Art, thank you so much. A Line Wash Burb, it's been a while, just stopped by to say hello. Yeah, thank you so much for being here. I haven't, yeah, I'm used to more talking on the Discord, and I kind of wasn't there enough lately. I've been very, very just busy, head down, working on a bunch of stuff, projects, and so on. Other times like that. By the way, the car book has arrived, the proof copy. I just need to collect it, and then I can take a look, approve, make necessary changes, either order another proof, probably will not need to do that, and can hit the publish button, and then we'll do a celebration stream, which will be fun. Joshua, do you have personal background or experiences influence the emotions conveyed in your artwork? just the passive stuff. So just the things I really have no control over, they just happen very naturally. That's, I would say, the thing that influences the emotion or the thing conveyed in the artwork. It's not something conscious. I think it's something that happens inevitably. No matter what you'll do, it will happen. It will show through. So um, I heard this from a couple of people. I don't even remember where the self is always shining through. So it doesn't really matter what you'll do; it will show. I'm not trying to inject any feeling to my paintings at all. Usually, what does happen if I look back at how I painted something, if I had a strong emotion at the time, I ride it like a wave. I'm not picky about what emotion it is. Very agnostic to it, but if I do have a strong emotion, I just kind of ride that wave and work in harmony with it. What ends up happening is better paintings. It doesn't even matter what the emotion is, it usually leads to better paintings. Can't really explain it. That's just how it happens. So yeah. Um, so Janith, I see most of the time in your paintings one brush with steel handle. What brand is it and its size? It looks extremely versatile for washes, details, everything. Yeah, that would be the Skoda Barocco, size 16. It's a metal handle because it's the plein air version, but it's actually originally, it doesn't have to come this way. It can be a normal wooden handle. It's just because it's a collapsible version. So Barocco, my size is 16. It has a really nice point to it. Another one I started using recently is the some kind of a calligraphy bamboo brush. I find that it can produce all sorts of versatile lines too, whether it's thin, kind of pointy lines or flat, like a flat brush. It's the ones you'd see very often with a lot of Korean artists. They use these brushes, and I like them a lot. So yeah. Christine, what kind of camera do you use? And have you ever used a camera obscura or similar device? No, I haven't used the camera obscura. As for my cameras, I have a bunch of them. So my camera for filming the painting processes is a Sony Handycam something. I don't remember the model. It's not new. It's the cheapest 4K camera I could find. It's not a DSLR. It's nothing fancy, but it more than gets the job done. Usually my videos are 1080p, not 4K. But sometimes when I really want to produce something cool, I will use the 4K, like Saturday's video tease. You're going to see it. It's a nice one. I used 4K for that. Here I have a Logitech Brio or Brio. I don't know how to pronounce it. Brio, another good streaming camera. I think it does 4K actually. Can I change it in the settings? Let's see here. I don't. Oh yeah, I can actually. Oh no, I can't. Wait, can I? I know StreamYard's added 4K if I'm not mistaken, but yeah, it's a camera that does film in 4K if I'm not mistaken. I think that's why I upgraded from my other Logitech. These are the main ones. I do have an older Panasonic Handycam. And oh, sorry, my bad. This is actually the Panasonic. The one I've been using, the 4K one for filming process, is a Panasonic Handycam. My older one is a Sony Handycam. The Panasonic is the 4K one. Older Sony, use it very rarely, but I will use it a bit more in the upcoming near future because I have a few new plans. I do have another Logitech camera that's kind of for streaming, for showing my face as I paint. I haven't even connected it to my PC here because I don't have a nice place to put it. There's a window here, so it's a bit hard. Other than that, I could place it on my I could place it on my MacBook now that I think about it. I don't know why I haven't thought about that. It's actually a good option. Maybe I'll do that. I'm gonna write it down for myself because I'm gonna forget. Logitech face camera on MacBook. I don't know why I wanted to put it on a tripod. It's so silly. And sometimes I find, I don't know why it is. I often find that people enjoy um, my my processes that don't have my face in them make for better videos. They get more views. People love the narration, especially real time. If I talk about what I'm doing in real time, they really enjoy it. But I think if you see my face, it's a bit. I thought in the past that it will improve retention because you can see me talking, and it's just it gives you something else to look at, and you feels more personable. But from my pure experience, my videos that perform the best are those without my face, just with my voice. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's distracting. Maybe it feels like it takes away from the immersion of the process. I don't know, but yeah. I did want to show you. Let's take a quick moment. So This is a photo I took, and I already made a painting based on called Bistro. Now I'm going to spice the photo up. I actually edited it digitally. So a lot of people then ask, they're curious about, I've been asked if I use AI, for example, and I like to say I use it for inspiration. I merge it, I play around with it, I Photoshop it, I change a bunch of stuff in it. So this is an example not of AI, but of me editing a photo. So let me show you. This was the original photo, and I want to produce, it's actually a wider one. If you've seen my painting bistro, you'll maybe let me just show it to you, because this is really cool. So painting project, bistro. I'm always having a hard time finding the folders of my paintings. Let me see here. I'll find it in 1 second. Bistro, there we go. Okay, so the original photo is the one I painted is this one. Let me upload it. 1 second, you'll see it, because I'm going to build it up for you. The painting looks just like the photo, by the way. So this is the original photo. This is the original photo. I really like the way it turned out. You can actually see the painting itself in 1 second. I'll show it to you. And this one sold in the last auction. Quite happy with it. There we go. Here's the painting. Okay, this is the painting. This is the photo. Painting. Photo. Of course, I changed some stuff around, but here's the kicker. So I cropped it differently because I want to focus on this guy more. And let me show you what I did. I edited it to reverse the color of the apron and the shirt. Bam. So now it's a black shirt and a white apron. And that's how I'm going to paint this new version. So I almost created a new scene, a different crop, and it's going to be this. Now, the reason I wanted to show you this in the first place was I really like how I started doing these things here. So I wanted to start a little looser, and you can see it right here. A little looser here on the details. Let's actually zoom in. And to have soft edges that I can later decide to sharpen if I want to. I'll probably leave some vague edges here because I really, really like that. Now, zooming out, yes, I'll start filling in the different areas. So you see the top left section, for example, I'll paint in one go and try to get some details in and slowly darken it step by step. I have a lot of paint on my hands because I painted earlier. Same goes for the other side. I'll fill in the blanks. But I like to start with some soft edges, even close to the focal point. So that's another painting. That's another example of how one reference photo, and I love doing it. Do one horizontally, like landscape orientation, then do one portrait orientation, focusing on one of the chefs, then maybe playing around with the colors, changing them. So first I edited in Photoshop, and now I'm painting based on how I edited it. And the editing was really fun, by the way. I just painted over it like I would digitally paint. The hard part was figuring out how the light and shadow is going to look on a white apron compared to a black or to a blue-ish apron, because the light and shadow is going to look different, more similar to the shirt. So that was an interesting challenge. Give it a few moments. Connection was lost. Is it back now? Is it good? Let me know. I think it should be good now. I don't know if it broke off and for how long. Hopefully you heard me. Okay. So we were here. Melanie. Man, I haven't had a chance to watch her paint in a while. New babies will do that, I guess. Yes, definitely. That is perfectly fine. Come back whenever you have more time for that. I think it's just fun to stay on top of things by watching, watching some pieces of art that you like. I think it's kind of not beneficial or useful. It's just a fun way to stay in the loop and look at once in a while paintings of artists you enjoy looking at. I think it just is a good substitution for super intense times where there's no way you can squeeze in like even 30 minutes to paint sometimes. So yeah. Dan, Liron, why don't you make your own watercolors? Always love your color choices. It's something I had in mind in the past. I just not really built for production and all of that. I think a good or a better idea would be to collaborate either with a brand or with like an established brand or with someone who is a small scale maker of watercolors. And have a palette that is like my branding. I would definitely consider that. I have tried a lot of watercolors before by smaller brands that sent me paints, and I tried them and I showed them on YouTube, and they were great quality, and the paint is a good light fastness. The paintings look the same, high quality. I'd be up for that, if it's a good deal, kind of a win-win situation. Yes, that sounds like a great idea. If I can help the small brand by giving them some recognition or press, so to speak, showing it in the videos more, and they give me the whole package of a palette of my own. Yes, I'm up for that. I'm just not really made for the production side of things. It's not my strength. I don't even like dealing with, honestly, shipping stuff physically. Paintings are different because it's just a painting. It's a one of a kind item. When you start talking about mass producing something, even if it's a small scale mass production, in a home or something like that, that's when it kind of breaks for me. So yeah, that's a great idea. Like, I would be happy to do that, just not the whole thing. I don't think I'm suited for that kind of a thing. Anyway, but yeah, there are so many small brands I see on Instagram. Small, I mean, like, they have 5,000, 10,000 followers, people who actually buy their paints consistently, and they just make smaller amounts, and it's great. I haven't tested out all of them. I don't know, some may be inferior quality, but the ones I have tried were great. So yeah. And same goes for brushes, everything, all of these things. It's the same idea, I think. Amy, do you have any tips for painting imperial size or larger? I have someone wanting a big piece for a big space. I paint smaller, so I'm tripping. Have you ever been in this situation? Yeah, Amy. So a lot of things that are easy to forget as artists. If someone has huge walls in their home, they need big paintings. Small paintings just won't cut it. It's hard to find a corner where a small painting will fit. And I totally get that. I think it's something that shows how much artists aren't customer oriented, and to me it's not a bad thing. I think we don't really have to be customer oriented. We're more into making the art. But having said that, it is a need for many people for the painting to be huge. Now, is it possible to paint this size? Yes. Will it require some modifications? Yes, but it is very possible. Honestly, I think the first thing, if you can wrap your head around letting go of the idea of constant flow, it is okay for the painting to not flow together. It's okay for there to not be an overarching wash that covers the whole page. It's okay to have that. It's okay to paint in small sections. It's perfectly fine. Here's a perfect example. So I painted these details in the middle, and then I stopped. I let it go, and I'll paint the background. I'll paint different shapes later. Now, if this was 8 times the size or 10 times the size, yes, you bet that I would paint this this plate separate, and this container separate to this container, separate to this container. There's nothing wrong with that. The cool thing about watercolor is when you're working on a small area, you can create a perfect flow there in that small contained area, and you can make beautiful transitions. But don't expect to be able, just time wise, to make that flow together with this area, with that area, with everything together. It's just not really gonna happen. Now, are there ways to make it flow more? Yes, for sure. Again, one of the most practical things I did, I painted Divination. It was a friggin' huge painting. How did I pre-wet it? Not with a brush, stroke by stroke, slowly. I just took a water cup and spilled it over the entire paper, because that was the fastest way to pre-wet. You see artists like, I keep forgetting his name, the Peruvian artist. What's his name? Peruvian, right? Not Bolivian, Peruvian. I have these two confused because I traveled both simultaneously, kind of. What's his name? I keep forgetting. You'll let me know in the chat. Let me find him real quick. It's so hit or miss. Sometimes I remember, sometimes I forget. Um, Man, I'm so bad with names live stream. But you know who I'm talking about. He's really famous. He's really, really famous. Um, You'll probably let me know in the chat. Nicholas Lopez. Yes, thank you. I keep forgetting his name. So Nicholas Lopez, he paints huge, and he has this water bottle, and he mixes the paint there. He has tons of black paint. He mixes it in a small water bottle, very thick paint, and uses huge brushes, like really huge brushes. My largest Raphael brush, he puts that to shame. It's like quadruple the or even 5 times the size. There are ways to do this. It's a matter of how willing you are to go that way. And I will say, it's kind of a secret, some idea I've had in mind. I talked about it a lot before. For those who are willing to paint really, really large in watercolor and master it, there is a lot of potential because it just seems like a niche. And that's what people with big walls, big collections, wealthy people, that's the thing they need. They need huge paintings. It really is what they need. You cannot hang a tiny painting on a huge wall, and you cannot paint a lot of tiny paintings on a huge wall. It just doesn't look as good. So yeah, by the way, talking about the business side of art that you asked earlier, Kumar, I think, there you go, my little snippet. I'm definitely going to go there at some point. I just need to find, usually for me, it's a matter of finding the reference photo that will inspire that kind of a painting. Lots of details. Hint, hint. That would be the thing because it's huge. So you want more details. And on top of that, again, Amy, just forget about the idea that everything needs to flow together. That's rubbish. Whatever you want to flow together will flow together. Whatever you don't, doesn't matter, right? If you work locally on a small area and you make that perfect, it will look good. And by the way, if you're painting large to begin with, from afar, no one will notice that areas are disconnected, quote unquote, or that, let's say you painted a large area and then you tried mixing the same color, but you didn't quite get it next to it. No one will notice. No one will care. The overall impression will beat everything. So yeah, I hope that gives you some kind of a direction there. So Janeith, I'm terribly dispersed, divided between gouache, oils, watercolors, etc. Any suggestions? I'm unable to leave any one of them, nor justify the practice time. Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it before, right? And you wrote me in an email too. Let me blow my nose for a second. Sorry. Fastest way to remove the camera, just place my palm on it like this, and you can see. Let me tell you this, Janith. I don't think you need to let go of any, leave any of the mediums. Maybe your path is to use all of them agnostically in even one art piece. If I'm being fully honest, there's, nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with mixing everything together. I think whatever you try to force, whatever you try and do by force, it has no real power, and thus it will not stick, quote unquote. Once you're able to not just understand that logically, but see it and feel it viscerally, very naturally, the problem will just disappear. That's how I see it. As soon as you'll truly understand on a very deep emotional level that all of that, it doesn't matter. You don't have to force anything you try. It's not even a matter of not having to force. Anything you try forcing will end up not working, will end up failing, quite frankly. Any habit you try to force, anything, it just has no power over a person's heart to make them actually do the thing. You may achieve a mediocre result with a habit you're trying to build, right? Very artificially to force a habit, but after a while, people always revert back to their to the mean of whatever their mean is, right? People always default back to their default. The more you try to force stopping it, it doesn't really matter. So yeah. Link the Makima drawing. I'm not sure if you're asking for the link. Do you want the original one? I think I can try and find it. Let me see if I can find it real quick. From the short video I did. I don't, how can I find it? The Pinterest is huge. Oh yeah, there it is. Found it immediately. So I don't know if that's what you're asking for, but what I sketched in the short video is the one in the middle. I sent a link now. Sorry, I know I'm delayed with the chat. I'm going to try and pick up the pace. Joshua, if your art could have conversation with you, what do you think it would say? That's an interesting question, actually. If your art could have a conversation with you, what do you think it would say? You know what? I think it would just stare at me and smile. I don't think it will say anything. That's what I think. Indeed, Paula. I hope that's an answer, Joshua. Kamsi, what other hobbies do you have other than painting? I had the Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, then I injured my knee, had to take a long, long break. Maybe I'll get back to it. Everyone I talked to, all the doctors, orthopedists, etc., I dislocated my patella. Um, they told me basically if they treated like a first dislocation because it did happen twice when I was 17, 16. They treated it as a first time, but there is some damage to one of the what do you call it? The thing that the tear. There's a bit of damage there, so um, I'll probably have to be very careful, or at some point do a surgery to reconstruct it. It's not the worst knee dislocation you can imagine. Patellar dislocation. Sorry, knee is completely different. It's not the worst patellar dislocation, but it is like it's considered a serious injury. It's not the ACL, which is like the worst from what I know. ACL tear. It's a different one, but still. Um, you know, if I do go back to it, I'll have to be very careful about it. But that's definitely, you could say, a hobby I've had for 6 months, and it was great. Best shape I've been in my life. So yeah, I would say at some points the gym was that too, but I don't know. After after BJJ, the gym is not the same. It's just not as interesting. I did enjoy playing the guitar for years, but on and off, very on and off. I never really was serious about it. Maybe cooking. I like cooking. Um, but I don't have any other clear like hobby. I think that those are the ones that are most relevant. I'm trying to think anything else. Um, hmm. I'm not sure. I think those are the main ones. Hopefully, I can go back to BJJ. I don't know. Hannah, hey, I love you so much. I can't draw watercolors well because I'm a beginner. What is your advice for me? I mean, just play around with it. If you're just getting started, it's play. Art is play. Um, the more kind of advice you follow and tips and techniques and tricks, it will just lead you astray. The best thing to do is just experiment for yourself and find your own path. That would lead to not only, I think, the best art you can make, but the most satisfying experience you can have while painting. Hope that makes sense. Christine, sorry, I should have been more clear. I meant for taking your reference photos. Let me see. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, I was totally. I went on a tirade there with the filming. Just my iPhone. Voila, an iPhone. I don't know what it is. 12, I think, is what I use. That's how I take all of my reference photos. Sometimes, if I'm driving and someone else can take a photo, I'll be like, "Oh, can you take a photo?" They take a photo, send it to me, done. So it's a different iPhoto or something like that. But it's just a phone, nothing special. So Janine, thank you so much. Thank you. Jacqueline, hey, good morning to you too. Oh, thank you so much. MMS Betty, ratings are amazing from India. Thank you. That's huge, huge compliments. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yeah, I hope that answers the question, Cam. Nancy G, okay, now do you ever work on more than one painting at a time? Yes, I do. In fact, I sketched, so you could consider it working on multiple paintings at a time. I sketched this one and this one and this one. I sketched all three one after the other, and then I kind of alternated between this one and the building one. Uh, and then I only then I started working on this one. But I will sometimes do that. I find that it's fun to have a couple of sketches ready to go, because then I know that I can at any moment decide to work on something different. So sometimes I'll get tired of one painting. Usually I'll take a break. But if I have a different painting to work on, I can just switch to that. And that's the fresh perspective I was looking for. Sometimes I'll take a break just because I need a break from a specific painting to kind of see things more clearly, let things sink, get a better perspective the next time. I think switching to a different one would work really wonderfully for me. So that's something I'll probably do more of. Jacqueline, oh, I've been looking into licensing my art. Have you done that? Actually, a bit, very selectively. So one thing with licensing is once the cat's out of the bag, so to speak, it's very hard to go back. It's very hard to unmake the soup. I have done that very selectively for a few of my creations that weren't the main thing. Like, I don't think there is a point in licensing this painting I just showed you. Um, I think it lends itself well to very specific types of art too. I think just it's a matter of um, cost and benefit analysis. What do you call it? Something like that. You know, at the end of the day, when you license it, depending who you license to, if you license to a company directly that will produce stuff, fine. You know you get a contract that is fair, and that's really important too. But if you work with a website, kind of a print on demand, Society 6 style, I would be very careful what you put there, very hesitant what you put there. People steal designs, that's nothing new, but also as soon as it's out on tons of products, you cannot really you can't really go back. That's the thing. And I just have recently been approached by a website that does that. And they want to license some art, and I'll reply to the guy probably today or tomorrow. I don't think I'll do it just because um like, what am I gonna do? License the plating painting that I sold to some? I'm not gonna. That's the kind of painting they want to license. I would never license that. If I sold a painting, like this kind of a painting, especially, but any painting really, I don't find, and people say, you're the artist, you can do whatever you want. It just feels a little slimy to sell an original painting and then license the art itself. I want a person who have, whatever. Everyone can do whatever they want. I take back the slimy comment. You can do whatever you want as an artist. To me personally, it doesn't feel right that the painting you purchased is then a design on a print. Um, I don't like that. Again, you're free to do whatever you want. um Artists should have the power and the rights and all of that. I don't know, maybe it's just the unique relationship that I like to develop with my customers. I don't want to have the painting that I sold in an auction for bidders that put a hard work money into, to have that painting show up in a, on a design somewhere. I think not only from like a, you know um standpoint of the customer that purchased it, but also for my own sake, I feel like it cheapens it. I don't think my art lends itself really well to licensing, so probably not. Now, it really depends on the art you do. If you do designs that are well suited for different products, that is wonderful. Like, things that could be printed on mugs, and I would say certain types of prints, and shower curtains and pillows and whatever that is perfect. Like, that you can make a serious living out of that too. I just find for my own paintings and style, it doesn't really land itself really well. So that's my very long answer. Hey, RKFab Art. I hope that helps, Jacqueline. Hey, hope you're doing well. David, hey, Liron, I've kind of fallen out of love with watercolor in the past year and now paint with acrylics. Ever happened to you? Not with watercolor. I don't see it ever happening, but who knows? Never say never. Um, Come on, Ruth. Come on. I don't see it happening, but who knows? I don't think there's anything wrong with that, though. I mean, that's just it sounds like something very natural that happened. And if you enjoy acrylics, that's even better. You found something you like more. Mm, Again, nothing really works by force. And even the way you phrase it, falling in love, falling out of love, kind of falling out of love with watercolor, sounds like just a very natural process. Um, that's what should have happened, probably. It hasn't happened to me, and I've been doing it for so long, I don't think it'll ever happen. But that's just because, I don't know, watercolors, it's just a magical click for me. It's how it clicked perfectly. I haven't really chosen it, it chose me, honestly. But yeah, if that happens to you, that's perfectly fine, and I'm happy you moved on to something else. There's like, it's not just you're sick of it, you found something that you enjoy more, or that just feels more natural. So yeah, that's great. Pradeep, hello, how are you doing? Yes, indeed. Thank you, my name, for reminding me of Nicholas Lopez. I don't know how I forgot. It's so silly. Um, you know how sometimes you're about to say something and there's a millisecond where you know that either you'll just by habit say it correctly or remember it or not, and then it actually happens the way you imagine it. It's so funny. Joshua, what's your favorite technique or trick when working with watercolor paint that you find adds a unique touch to your artworks? Favorite technique or trick when working with watercolor paint that you find adds a unique touch to your artworks? It's an interesting question. I don't think I can say what makes my art unique. I think maybe other people will be in a better position. I'm so close to the picture. I will say that maybe a lot of it has to do with the choice of subject matter to begin with, as opposed to what I'm doing painting. Because you'll recognize an artist by what they choose to paint. That can happen. The cars, that kind of a thing, sunny cityscapes. Um, I don't have many rainy cityscapes, and you'll see a lot of these, I want to say cliche paintings, but some of them aren't cliche, of sunny streets that all look really similar to one another. You'll notice I just don't have many of them because we don't have many of these days, because I like to paint what I know. So I think the kind of restaurant style of paintings, cars, are the things that make it more unique. And for each of those, I can mention maybe retrospectively something I do that makes it more unique. But it's very hard to say. I think the way I choose to connect or disconnect shapes makes it unique. So, for example, the first thing that pops to mind, because it's my desktop background on my computer, I'm looking at it as we speak, is how I connect the shadows under the cars with the body of the car. That's something maybe a little unique to me. The way I selectively choose to merge shapes. Something that falls in that category, I've been enjoying using, like a technique or trick. I've been enjoying using opaque paint, my designer's gouache, um, or it could be just normal watercolor paint that's a little opaque. Using it wet and wet. I haven't seen a lot of people do that. Just while the paint is wet, using opaque paint and have it kind of smoothen out, spread out very naturally. And for restaurants, I would say the thing that makes it more of a unique touch is just how much I spend on bringing back the highlights. I just really spend time on it. So it's a matter of what you like to paint, what you like to show in the painting, more than like a specific technique, I would say. It's all coming downstream from what inspires you. Makes sense, hopefully. Miriam, hola, hello. Kumar, precise question on commercial side of watercolor art. Um, when is the right time to start thinking about selling? I mean, if you want to sell, then it's the right time. You just go ahead and sell. I don't think you should be limited by external forces or opinions. I will say this. Usually, you can tell when an artist has matured into a style or when they're not. The more they're matured, it doesn't even. I'm not even talking about painting well or being technically proficient necessarily, but when someone has settled into. And by the way, when I say settled, it doesn't mean it's gonna be like that forever and that's your style and you're boring and that's done. I mean, your paintings have matured. You can tell that the person worked independently on developing them. They feel more personal. They feel less generic. That to me is a perfect time to sell. That can happen quite fast, by the way. It doesn't need to take long. Um, People always wonder if my paintings are good enough to sell, not good enough to sell. The best thing, the best way to find out is to try and sell them. Go to a couple of galleries, see if someone's willing to represent you. Go to galleries that sell paintings you think are similar to your own. That would be a good way to improve the odds that you will find a relative gallery. It increases the chances of them accepting you if they already have art that is similar to yours. Try selling on your own. Try selling on your own website, social media. Upload a painting. You even go crazy, like say give a starting or just a low price to get started, like $20 for this painting. See if anyone would buy it. Art isn't easy to sell, and it's also very easy to sell. And it depends on the circumstances. So the best way to discover is to try and sell it. The market will tell you. The market will tell you if they deem it valuable or not. And again, if you don't sell, it doesn't necessarily mean it's not valuable. but for sure, maybe there's some work to be done, right? A lot of beautiful paintings will simply not sell because of circumstances, because they weren't marketed well enough, because of a bunch of other things. It's not just the quality of art. But I'm saying, if you want to discover where you are this very second, if you combine the elements of the quality of your art, the maturity of your style, your marketing skills, your whatever, everything together, you'll get an answer. And then you can go back to the drawing board, work a bit more, um, produce a painting that's better, produce a something that's more polished, market it better. Um, Even persevering and posting more, all of these things, they accumulate at the end of the day. That's what I would say. That's a pretty lengthy answer, and I also answered this one the same go. So yeah. Hey, Lorena Del Sur, how are you doing? It's been a while, I think, since I've seen you here. Thank you for being here, much appreciated, and thank you for the kind words. Oh, sorry, Miriam. I can try slowing down. I don't. I get into it because I want to make sure I answer everyone. Christine, hi all. Remember to spike. Oh yeah, yeah. If you can slap the smash and hit the like button, that would be great. Um, and thank you. Yes, yes. The iPhone is more than good enough. I even think if you take too good of pictures to professional, they're not good for painting, or they make for harder paintings. The easiest paintings that I find is the ones that um, look even more amateurish as a photo very often. Yeah, organizing, just once in a while, I'll throw a few in the Dropbox, open it up in my computer. I have folders for that. I have tons of folders for subject matter. I have a folder that's permanently there. I call it new batch, and that's where I throw things. And then when I feel like it, I organize them into different folders, and then I decide what to paint. I always have a big pool of potential paintings. Um, hey, Adria, how are you? Thank you for being here. Let me see. Did I share all of the paintings I wanted with you? Yes, I think I have. So, yeah, we can continue. Erica, good morning from Ohio, USA. Liron, do you have a paper size preference? What is your favorite paper right now? My favorite brand is Saunders Waterford. As for size, not really. It depends on the painting and the scene I want to paint. Um, I think what I end up painting most often right now is about A3 size. That's double A4, which is this size approximately. This one, the building I showed you earlier, and this one, they're all the same size. This one's a little more narrow. I cut out the side of it because I didn't need it from the photo. But yeah, that's the one I paint most lately. But honestly, again, it depends on the scene. If I want to paint something huge, I'll paint it huge. I don't really have a preference. Bye, goodbye. I hope the reference helped you. Diane, as an artist, you would be good at photography as a hobby, in my opinion. Yeah, maybe. I just don't really care much about photography. I don't know. It never really attracted me. Joshua, are you more creative in the morning or evening? Because I'm always making art later in the day or in the evening. Yeah, I'm kind of the opposite. It depends. So usually I'll find that the first quarter of the day is the best for me. That I'm super fresh. And I would much rather start with art and then do everything else, whether it's making content, whether it's logistical, boring stuff, whether it's marketing stuff, posting, editing videos, whatever it is. I prefer to keep those things later because I do find I have a fresh start in the morning. For about 2 to 3 hours, my head is very clear, and um, I can just be more focused on the painting I'm working on, which usually leads to better results. Now, I do have a second kind of wave in the evening where I feel like I want to continue working, not necessarily painting, but just working. So I wouldn't say I'm more creative in the evening. But that is kind of a false sense from what I discovered. It's just this wanting to keep being stimulated and not winding down. And usually, what I find works best for me personally, which I discovered just through life and trial and error, is to wrap up early and start early again the next day. With that, sometimes I'll get the inspiration and motivation to continue a painting. Usually it will happen in the middle of the day, in the evening, but I find that if I want the cleanest time where I can be the most mindless, not mindful, mindless as I paint, the zen, the flow state, all of that, morning, early morning, as early as possible. But everyone's different. I think, if you discover something different works for you, then so be it. Erica, I also hope you're safe and well in Israel. I'm praying for you, friend. Thank you so much. Yes, I am relatively safe. Nowhere really feels safe, unfortunately, but yes. Moon, I like James Gurney's stuff. If he ever comes up with a coffee table book of the works he puts on YouTube, I'm snagging it. Yeah, it's hard for me to believe he doesn't have one. I mean, I haven't looked into it, but doesn't he have one? Because James Gurney is very well established. I'm sure he has books, but I don't know if it's like, yeah, it's not what he puts on YouTube. Probably it's more of the Dinotopia stuff. Yeah, I'd love to see something like that. I love his work. He's super um, skilled. He knows what he likes to paint. He knows how to approach it. Everything, and the result is super professional. Yeah, great artist, and it's amazing that he also produces videos. It's a rare thing to see. Thank you so much. Happy New Year yourself, sir. Much appreciated. Hope 2024 is the best one you've had yet. Jacqueline, thanks for that answer about licensing. It was helpful. Thank you for reminding me. I did remember, but like it's so easy to forget. So thank you. It was helpful. I think I paint mostly commissions, but I could do pattern work specifically for products. Just looking into other ways to earn money. Yes. Yep. I think first and foremost, there's a lot of ways to make money as an artist. I think finding the ones that really mesh well with you, just naturally, that just happens, is the best. And I think I'd go out on a limb and say that um, it's best to pour more time and energy into something you're very connected with, as opposed to trying something new is great. But if you find out it's kind of, if you look at it at the end of the day, and if you ask yourself honestly, am I just doing it for the money because there's potential in there? I kind of may enjoy it, but probably if it wasn't a money thing, I wouldn't do it. If that's your answer, I think you'd do better to invest that extra energy into the thing that you already know you mesh well with. So if you're already making paintings, maybe you sell once in a while. Um, but you have something that is working to some extent, even if it's like 20% working from where you want it to be in order to, let's say, make a living or be more comfortable. I would pour, after trying something out and knowing you're not, it's not that, I would pour more energy into the thing that is already working. I think it just has a better ROI at the end of the day. But with that said, trying something new that you're uncertain of, definitely, as much as you can, because you'll discover something that works for you. Yes, I think something like pattern work, something like, I forgot what it's called on Etsy, but people sell tons of these designs of clip art. Clip art, it's called. Yeah, this works really, really well in watercolor too. Whatever is like designs for wedding cards and different causes of celebration, different holidays, different stuff like that. That could work really well. But yeah, I would give licensing a go, especially if you're gonna make stuff exclusively for that, and you're not worried about them ending up, being on tons of products, and you enjoy the money you make from it. Definitely, yes, I would definitely go for that. Let me know if you're curious about other avenues you haven't tried and you're thinking of trying, or if you want to share what works for you currently, and maybe we can help that way. But yeah, sounds like you're on the right path. So keep it up. Buck, your video, the last watercolor technique you'll need. I never knew this process of place of being is an explainable process or study it itself. Yes, that's one of my favorite videos. Now you'll make fun of me. The last watercolor technique. I'm trying to remember what was the painting subject. I remember the video. I don't remember what the painting subject was, which is funny. I think I know what it is. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Okay. So I actually remember the fruit. Sometimes I'll remember the video, the title, what I talked about, but I won't remember the painting process in the background, so to speak. Yes, it's one of the most fun ways to paint for me. It's the thing that I've been doing for almost all of my recent paintings. So yeah. This is the difficulty I have when trying to follow someone else's demonstration. Yes, it's very, people will say it's natural to imitate others and to learn from others by imitating them. I would say that following someone else's demonstration is an unnatural thing. It's not, you may be a person who learns that way, but for most people, it's not the natural way of learning. You will learn by imitating, by seeing how other people handle the paint and the water, and how they use the brush. That's fine. But at the end of the day, there's something very dead about just painting the same thing someone else painted. I think a lot of people will do better by following other people's general kind of whatever naturally seeps in. So when you see someone paint, you're gaining some knowledge as to how paint mixes, how paint works, like, physically. That thing you will learn inevitably. That's the thing that you do gain as a benefit from other people's processes. The actual painting they do, I think, is of little benefit, which is why you'll notice in most of my lessons and painting processes, I try to give something that is very connected to the process, but also very detached from it. An idea that can be attached to just about anything. A optional path of thinking that, yes, this painting demonstrates, but it's not how I painted the painting. It's not like a decision I made. That's how I'm going to paint it. That's how I painted it, if that makes sense. I think it's more beneficial. Let me turn on the lights. It's getting dark here. Voila. I really dislike the yellowness with this light, but at least you can see me. So that's better. Um, But yes, you hit on a great point, Buck. Adria, I just finally bought a tube of Holbein white gouache to use for highlights because I see you use things like that, but I'm a bit intimidated. Any tips on how to practice it? Yes, just play. It is play. I love it. I heard great things about Holbein. I think the white gouache is going to act exactly like what I have here. The best way, honestly, is to do it. When you're intimidated, that's because there's a consequence. So if you can get rid of that consequence, you'll do really, really well. How do you get rid of that consequence? Take a blank piece of paper, paint something that is of no importance to you. Like I showed you the what do you call it? Like the freedom session. You just paint, just throw paint in there, see how it works. After you've done this once or twice, it will start happening naturally. So right now, I can buy like a single tube of a paint I was really looking forward to using and just going crazy with it, using it opaque, transparent, mixing, wet and wet. I'll put in the paint directly from the tube on paper. I don't care about any of that. People tend to be timid with new supplies. I'm well past that. I don't see any value in it. I'll do a freedom painting session. I'll just paint like crazy, let things happen on paper, see how they work. That's how you learn those very technical things very fast. You just do it once, twice, you'll master it on a technical level. Then it's about how it fits in your vision. Where would you use that paint in a painting? All of these things that are more of a feel, more of things you cannot simplify into a step-by-step process. But that first step, you just play. That's how you get it. It's all play, nothing else. Buck, a comment referred this as flow. Are there other names for this experience? Yeah, I don't like labels. I think they're more limiting than others. But yeah, people call it a flow state, being in the zone, being in the state, Zen. Detachment from outcome. You can find a lot of words to describe it. Time slows down. That's another one. It's not a name, but it's a description. I think at the end of the day, the way you describe it doesn't matter as much. Even experiencing it doesn't matter as much, if I'm being honest with you. If someone tries to experience it for the sake of the experience, because it's cool and it's fun, and it's a worthwhile, quote unquote, endeavor to achieve that state, it will elude them forever. The way I get into this state is I paint. I've always been able to sketch and paint and get immediately into this place. I think because what was more important to me is not the fringe benefit of reaching this state, but rather just to let art flow through me. That's usually how it is. If you chase it, it runs away. if you back into it accidentally, it will find you. So yeah, that's my 2 cents. Hey all, can we all like this live? Yeah, thank you so much, Sujan. If you can drop a like on this live stream, it helps it reach more people. Karen, how are you? Hello from cold Colorado, US. Awesome, cool. Colorado is beautiful. Erica, can you tell us about your 100 cars project? What draws you to paint cars and restaurant scenes? Your art helps open my eyes to observe the scenes around me, especially the things easily overlooked. Yes, exactly. And the reason why the cars work so well is because I didn't do it out of any ideal or any desire to show people that cars are interesting. That's exactly how you don't end up with art that is art. The reason it worked is because I was very naturally drawn to painting it. There's nothing that caused me to do it. I just thought about it and tried it. Had a lot of fun with it. Ended up doing more and more and more. The reason I started a challenge was actually because I watched a video that said work on a project. Now, looking back, I didn't need the project. All I needed is to paint whatever I want. The project, quote unquote, wasn't necessary to get me to paint 100 cars. I'd probably paint 100 cars anyway at a different pace. But I think I just enjoyed it so much, so naturally, that it just ended up happening. Same for restaurants, I think. Just really enjoyed them. Restaurants in particular, I like the bit of challenge in capturing all of the lights. Whereas with cars, I just enjoy the generally the light and shadow. But in restaurants, you have a lot of darkness and then highlights on top of that, which is something I really enjoy. And I started using other tools and mediums and media to serve the purpose of my vision. So I didn't, for example, by the way, Sujanith, this is a good one for you. I never made a conscious decision. I'm going to paint with watercolor, pastels, and gouache. I just used whatever led my vision. So I needed white highlights. I started using the designer's gouache, the white gel pen, whatever it is. I needed soft diffused light. I used a bit of pastels, smeared them around to get this soft halo-y effect. It was always just to answer a need for the vision itself. So yeah, I would say these are my 2 cents. Anything really can be inspiring and beautiful to paint. It's just a matter of being able to notice that. So most people just don't notice it, but it's there always. And that's, I think, how I do it, at least. It really is the path of least resistance. I think so many people, myself included, by the way, love to struggle, love to be almost a victim of circumstances, because there's something very comfortable in it if you got used to thinking of yourself that way in certain areas. For some people, it's in many areas. For some, it's in small niche areas. There's a lot of comfort in that. And the struggle is unnecessary. At the end of the day, you have a blank piece of paper. You can do whatever you want with it. No one forces you to paint one way or another. Now, you can get into a situation where you're incentivized to paint the same subjects, the same materials, because that's what sells, right? But no one actually forces you to do that. So I think the path of least resistance is the easiest path to walk. And I think it's demonized for no reason. Things should be hard. Things should be a struggle. No, they shouldn't. They really shouldn't. It doesn't matter. And it's okay to put in the work. And it's okay, by the way, if you're forced to put in the work in something you don't like as well, as a temporary solution. That is fine. And you can try stuff around, play around with stuff, it's okay. But at the end of the day, the struggle itself, there's no real value in it. It's much easier to not struggle, which I know is a crazy thing to even say, but it's actually true. And a lot of people just like the struggle. It's kind of a too long of an answer. But yeah, Eric, I hope that's somewhere in there was an answer to your question. Thank you, Theme. You don't even paint and you like this, so I much appreciated. Moon, I paint when I have privacy. Yeah, sure, that makes sense. Whenever someone tried looking over my shoulder, I would stop and look at them back. Yeah, I get it. I get it. Some people are like that. Sometimes in some moods, I'm like that too. Usually it doesn't bother me though. Marjorie, watching artists sell at shows, I noticed those that sell also sold themselves. Yes, that's true. That's true. It's all about connections, making a personal connection with the person that's talking to you. That's how I did it when I sold in the art fair here. Same thing, we make a connection, you talk. I had a huge advantage because I can actually speak English, unlike most artists there. And not only speak English, but kind of understand understand just common sayings and I don't know, just common things that people say. Whereas if you have a very superficial understanding of a language, you just can't do. So I had a very big unfair advantage there because I could actually talk to people, make conversations with them, and not just say, is this good painting, this good, this just nice. No, I mean, that's not me imitating other artists. There, I'm just doing an exaggeration. Most of them were a little better than that, but yeah. Raymond, hi, nice to see you again from UK. Thank you for being here. Walpole, is that's a British kind of last name, or am I imagining? Because as soon as I saw your username, I remembered UK, but maybe I just remembered your name and that you're from the UK because you said it before. Maybe I'm not sure if it was the last name that gave it away or the fact I remembered something. So I'm curious to hear. Diane, Liron, would you ever consider painting a frog-eyed sprite car? My boyfriend at the time, 1960s, had one. Memories. I don't know what it is. Frog-eyed sprite car. What is that? Frog-eyed sprite car. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I'll do one. I don't mind. It looks fun. I'll have this tab open. Maybe I'll give it a go tomorrow or next week. We'll see. Yep, I don't mind doing that, Diane. Remind me once I post this because I'll probably forget. Remind me that it was you who mentioned it. It's a really strange looking car, but I like it. Moon, he's got James Gurney, he's got one with dinosaurs. I'll be honest, that doesn't really interest me. Yeah, it's not only the dinosaurs, the style itself isn't really of interest to me either. I'm sure it's of interest to those who read the original or watched even, I think, the original Dinotopia. But not for me, not as much. As a kid, I really liked dinosaurs, by the way. I like dinosaurs as much as next day. Oh, okay, it's funny. So we're the same pretty much. But his are surreal. Yeah. Yeah, I used to love dinosaurs. I remember the first time I visited the US, my uncle, he or someone else bought me a book about dinosaurs. I was stoked. It had all kinds of dinosaurs and the descriptions. It was in English too. It was fun. I loved them as a kid. Gina, good morning. Good to be here, even if I'm an hour late. No worries. No worries. This is fun, casual stream. Erica, he has a book on color and light as well. Oh, really? James Gurney. Didn't know. James Gurney. Oh, sorry, you're talking about someone else. And James Gurney has a book on imaginative realism. Oh, fun. Okay, I had no idea. I didn't know. Hello, January with 2R. Welcome. Hope you're doing well. Makes sense. Very wise. Just doing commissions is working. Well, why do something else? But just looking into it. Yeah, I mean, no, that's fine. And commissions aren't really passive. I think ideally, as an artist, you do want to build something that kind of works on its own. Takes a couple of hours a week to preserve. Even something like this YouTube channel could be looked at as something like that. So, yeah, obviously I put a lot more than a few hours a week into it, but it will keep getting views. I can take a break for a couple of weeks. It'll still get views for older videos. It will still bring people to the courses. Now, I think if you can have at least one thing like that, it would be good. If you can publish a book, for example, or get something like licensing work on a specific platform and then have kind of recurring income from that, I think that's a good idea. And then your commissions are the main bulk and maybe larger chunks of money at a time. Yeah. I would definitely try everything, everything that may interest you. It's all a part of that play, that experimentation. So yeah. When I really like his YouTube stuff, I wouldn't want an instructional book, just a gallery for a copy. Yeah, I'm the same, actually. I don't need the instructionals in the book because I already have the videos anyway. I would love something like that too. Yes. Maybe a little tidbits behind each one, like the story on it. Yeah, I have one by Kim Jung-gi with a bunch of his sketches, zero description. I love it, Gina, I don't draw a lot, but I'm learning. I sharpened my new pencils with a blade. It was so fun. Sometimes just making new watercolor palettes is fun. Yes, I love sharpening with a X-Acto knife or whatever. Just get it to be like a really thin lead kind of. You can do a lot of things with that. Um, Titus Mew. I never know how to pronounce his name, but I know his art and his videos are great. Is an artist I just found. He's awesome. He's in Holland. Does house portraits. Love his videos. I did not know he does house portraits. I have seen his cityscapes only, and he's pretty good. Um, Artist chick. What solutions do you recommend to one who sketches in shades darker than needed? Whenever you don't get the result you want, I think there's kind of a feedback loop that once you start it, you'll inevitably fix any problem you have. I think just the fact that you're aware of it, as you're coming to paint that thing, whatever the sketch that thing, sorry, you're already aware that you tend to go darker, it will start to solve itself. Um, just the fact that it bothers you, right? Um, that's pretty much the way I approach these things. I notice that I have a tendency, if I want to lighten a wash, if I want to do a gradated wash starting from dark, moving to mid value, I have a tendency to, instead of mixing an actual mid value, move to too light of a wash, too much water, and then it ends up with a harsh, weird transition. This is from very dark to very light and a bit of a cauliflowery texture. Just was not after that. I was after a transition from a dark to a medium. So just noticing that started a process of fixing it, and it is nearing its apex now. Even though I've been aware of me doing it for a couple of good months at least. So sometimes these things take time. It's almost none of our business how long it takes. Just the fact that you noticed it is enough. Now, you can, of course, fix, right? You can have an eraser. I like kneaded erasers. These ones, like Play Doh, um, I like these the most. Just dab it over the too dark of an area, lighten it up. Nothing wrong with that. If you're talking about like the pencil sketch for a watercolor, using a softer lead can actually help because then you don't have to scratch the paper so much. So that could be also a solution. Suzanne, are you using rough watercolor paper? I'm actually using cold press because rough is way too much texture for me. Sometimes it's very hard to get into the tooth of the paper with the brush, and I like that when it's scanned, it doesn't look too much of a texture. I actually like how hot press paintings look better when scanned, but that's just part of it. It's okay. I enjoy cold press paper more than hot press usually. Just the final look, I prefer it hot press. So yeah, not rough, just cold press. Traditionally speaking, I like that name. I feel I need to go back to the start of your videos to learn. Starting where you are today as an artist is intimidating. Like I missed important steps. Yeah, I think it's not necessarily about following any steps, more about finding what inspires you. If you find that a specific video or set of videos do not inspire you, that's perfectly fine. Not all of the videos are going to hit. Maybe none of them will hit for some people. But yeah, I do have a playlist for beginner techniques and kind of painting processes. You may want to check that out. I think that's a good one. I usually put there paintings where I feel like there is one overarching good idea that leads the process rather than just a generic painting process. The focus is the idea around it, and beginners could learn something from it. So I do have that playlist. Maybe it'll be useful. Joshua, an artist brings a pencil to the art gallery just in case you wanted to draw a conclusion. That's funny. Sometimes it's hard when you're in art galleries. It's very hard to draw conclusions. You look at a painting and you're like, what was the person thinking when they painted it, and what was the gallery owner thinking when they agreed to have it here? Museums too. Kathy Mogg, I'm an hour late as well. What? No matter. It's okay. I'm gladly welcoming you even an hour late. Thank you for being here. You need a new cup. Yeah, I know. It's the dishwasher messed up with the coating. We actually have another one that the coating was completely removed and it looks better. It's just the clear silver color, but yeah. I don't know why I like this one, of course, because it's older. of course, I like that one in particular. I have a bunch of normal ones without the cover that I take for walks with Ruth. This one because it won't spill as easily. But yeah, um, uh, I don't know how to pronounce that username. Sorry, Taipundware. I like your style a lot. I would like to see your approach on how do you paint portraits and get the shadows dark without muddying it up, or so that it doesn't look like a smudge on the face. Yes, I should do more portraits. I'm aware of this, and I will make more of them. If you haven't checked out the David painting process, check that out. That's a good one. Also the Barg, but that's a bit more basic. I will do more portraits. I know I want to do more of them. I do have the photo real kind of realistic portrait I did also recently. If you just go to my videos, most recent ones, scroll for a bit, you'll find it. I also have a playlist, I think, of portraits. I think I do. Kailani 22. You wouldn't believe how far Liron has come. When I first started watching him, he was a major beginner, and not very long ago, I'm impressed. Thank you. Yes, I was. And this is what I tell a lot of people. When I started, writing and filming and everything, I just wanted to share where I'm at. It wasn't necessarily like, here I am, an expert, I know everything. And I was always okay with that. And I know that my content when I got started was inferior to a lot of other people's because they were more proficient in the medium, more experienced, more advanced. And it was always framed this way. Honesty really is the best policy. Not out of an ideal necessarily, just because it's the easiest way to live. So I was always like, I'm not an expert. I'm probably just a little more experienced than some of you, and you can maybe learn from that, maybe not. So yeah, it wasn't that long ago. And when you think about it, I started posting very regularly around 2015, 2016. Well, less than a decade ago. Less than a decade is not a long time to me. I mean, it's a long time, but it's not that long in the grand scheme of things. But yeah, thank you so much. Yes, really appreciate it. Hopefully, you're not going to say you started watching me a year or two ago, because I wasn't. I don't think I was a beginner then. But yes, thank you so much. Um, Mijuki, just a thank you for all the free tutorials about watercolors you are doing for us. Yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and that's a great photo. So you're painting as well, right? I love that. That looks like a wonderful painting. Love it. Thank you so much. Paula, yes, wish I could progress as fast or even half speed. Thank you. Yeah, it's honestly, I don't know if it's about talent. I think even if it is about talent, everyone has their own talent, and I just knew maybe where to find my own. I think pretty much anyone can find their own thing. You will never be just like me, just like I'll never be like someone else I may look up to. I'll never paint like insert artist. That's okay. I don't even want to paint like insert artist name. I want to paint like myself. And I find that when I get better at it, it's actually me getting more like me, more personal, more unique, just more like myself. So yeah. Jan's art. One of the best lessons you teach is the one I can't seem to learn. Well, maybe I don't teach it as well than promoting yourself. I've been an artist for decades and do animal and people portrait commissions, but fell at self promotion. Yeah, I don't know if like so there's a thing like you can frame it as failing, but the question is, have you even tried? Right? I think it's if you want to be fully honest with yourself. When you look at your efforts at self promotion, did you put in the work to begin with? Did you try it out? Or is it something you hate doing, which is totally understandable? That's a lot of us are like that. You hate doing it, so you never really put a lot of effort into it. And that is fine. To me, that's not failure. That's just cause and effect, and you can make a decision to change that right this second, and it will work. It's a very tricky business. I will say that, like, the more time I spend as a professional artist, which is still to this day a strange thing to say, the more I understand how tricky and weird and bizarre the business of art is, whether it is teaching art, teaching the technical side of things, whether it is coaching or helping people find their own style, whether it's selling artwork, whether it's selling information product around, like, art is a weird, murky affair. Just like a lot of other, I think, areas that are just very personal. It's all about your connections, who you know. Um, if you're looking at the high end, right, that's where it's at. If you know the right people, you will sell for a lot of money. On the low end, it's about how well you can promote yourself, how much you can think of it as a business, how much you're realistic with just, is what I'm doing going to be desired by anyone ever, right? And it's okay if the answer is no. It's okay. You can continue experimenting. You can change. You can, but honestly, the ugly reality is most artists don't make enough to make a living. The tail end is very long. Now, if you look at the tail end of other jobs, quote unquote, it's not as long. Now, if you look at popular niches, like if you're a personal trainer, let's say you're helping people get in better shape, I think you'll find a long tail there as well, because if you're doing it independently, it's not as easy. But I think if you look at something like the trades, I mean, in if you're an electrician or a plumber, I don't think the tail end is that long. I think most people who go into these fields do end up making a living, right? So art is such a weird, bizarre world. The more I do it, the more I learn it. The more I care less, honestly, about anything else but mastering the art, mastering the medium, just mastering the process. And whatever that brings, that brings. I think I'm very fortunate that I really enjoy sharing, and I've always enjoyed it. That was together with the painting came the sharing of the paintings. Always like that for me naturally. That's not something I learned to do. So if that's something you or anyone else struggles with, I didn't have to teach myself that. I just enjoyed doing it naturally. Um, so I'm kind of lucky in that way because the timing and social media really helped. And the fact that I've been doing this for such a short time, but I still have more followers than a lot of more well-renowned artists is very strange, or at least as very well renowned artists is strange. And I think it's, again, I could not have planned all of it, right? I did put in the work, but the work was never effortful. It was effortless. I just followed the thing I enjoy doing. So I think in a way I was lucky. Now, everyone has that thing they can find and follow. It just will not be exactly the same as my thing or someone else's thing. So yeah. But yeah, I'm curious to if you want to share more about like how you failed, quote unquote, in self promotion. I think I've given you some things to maybe go back and see how well they mesh with what you feel about your situation and experience. Joey Best, how are you doing? Due to how you look at yourself, or actually, Morgan? Yeah, it's a good questions. Good Morgan, hey John, how are you doing? Thank you for being here. No, I don't like it, so I haven't put much effort. Yes, yes. I haven't even read these comments. I'm now going over them, so I was spot on, I guess. I'd love to be a teacher and sell on the side. Yes, definitely. Teaching is a great path to doing that. Riser, hi. I find having music on when I paint keeps me much looser, less serious. Yes, if you discover that works for you, perfect. I'm kind of hit or miss. Sometimes I'll want silence. Sometimes I'll want music. Marjorie, doing shows, I found that I was a better cheerleader than selling myself, especially after years of working in a kitchen, mostly by myself and other solitary endeavors. You know what's interesting, Marjorie? A lot of people I think are like that. The only time I was comfortable with people was teaching. Yep. I think a lot of people are like that, where when they need to sell themselves, I'm like that too. They're having a hard time. Um, I'll give you a very practical example, like watching the auction, watching my paintings being sold by someone else embarrasses me. Not in a bad way. It embarrasses me because, like, oh, it's, they're too nice. They're being too kind. That kind of embarrassment. And it's silly because if I need to sell someone else, it's much easier. Even though almost I'm almost I don't think I'm that good at promotion necessarily. I'm just good at sharing what I'm doing. When it comes to really pushing things hard and selling more and promoting more actively, I don't think I'm as good. I'm just really the type of person who enjoys sharing. And you know what? If I made a good product, I want to share it with you. I want to, but be very hard pressed to actually squeeze out something very promotional. When I launched the frustration free watercolor course, I believe it was, or the watercolor realism course, I did a launch stream. That's cool. I can do that once in a while, but to really be salesy, it's not my go-to. I'm more of I'm gonna put my stuff out there, and whoever discovers them and likes them will purchase whatever they need to purchase. um, I really don't like selling. I don't like overselling, and I don't like selling sometimes. But again, if I made a good product, I'll wholeheartedly tell you, yeah, go check out the frustration free watercolor course. Yes, it will solve your problem of being too tight, rigid, unfree. It will help you break free. That's the kind of thing that's very easy for me to do. But I don't really look at it as promotion. It's just, I'm sharing something that works. But yeah, the more salesy kind of work, yes, it is more challenging to me. Gina, your kind heart and good personality is what makes me want to be here. I never made my art for money. I know I should. No, you shouldn't do anything. But I just love the art of creating. You shouldn't. You shouldn't. There is no should. If you just enjoy the painting aspect of it, you do that wholeheartedly. It's perfectly fine. I think sometimes, people will encounter your art, and they'll just like it and they'll ask, and then the sale happens like that without doing anything. I think if the art is good enough and you place it where people can see it, it will sell probably. Maybe it'll take time. Maybe you'll paint 100, and out of 100, one will sell uh, in a year or two, and then another will sell. But you can put more effort into putting it in more places. But I think on a principle level, it will sell. Yeah. Joey, self promotion is a very vulnerable, you mean? Thing. Being a cheerleader isn't being as vulnerable for most of us. It's interesting. I don't look at it this way. Self promotion is very vulnerable. I'm not sure. It's interesting. I'll have to think about it. I think, to me, I don't know. It's easier for me to do something on behalf of someone else when it comes to promotion. But yeah, I don't know. You know, I I I feel very comfortable to tell you that I think my watercolors are great. And if you're into watercolors and if it inspires you to look at them, and by the way, if you want to invest in an artist that has a long-term potential of having the art value increase, yes, you should buy my paintings. I feel confident saying that. But yeah, my goal, and I'll talk about it on next Tuesday's video, is to, next, like the closest Tuesday, the 23rd. What is it? I think I said it earlier. My goal is to make sure that every single person who ever purchases a painting of mine not only gets a painting that is beautiful to look at and inspiring, but also knows that it's an actual investment, because your painting is going to increase in value for sure. That's how I see it. In every painting I make, I'm pouring my all into, so that there's no confusion, right? If it's not purchased, it's not me, it's the other person. See what I mean? Like, there's nothing I can take any accountability for the painting not selling. I put it all there. If it doesn't sell, the person didn't like it. It's their personal taste, whatever. But yeah, and I one more thing I'm trying to do now, it's a bit counterintuitive, is I'm trying to shape my paintings in a way that I almost would not want to sell them. They'll feel too good, like no price can justify it. And once you do that, that's when you have something really worthy, something you don't want to let go of. I have paintings that were really hard to let go of that I sold. And I'm happy I sold them, and I think they got a fair price. Um, but some of them I feel like were a steal. Some of them I feel like, yeah, they should have gotten 3 times the price, 4 times the price, 20 times the price. If you are at that kind of a point, I think it's inevitable. It's just a matter of time, honestly. Now, I don't know what my ceiling is. I don't believe in ceilings. I don't think there is a ceiling. But retrospectively, there will be a ceiling, right? And hopefully more than 100 years when I die, that's 100 years. I'm a very big optimistic person. There will be some kind of a price that will be the maximum. Retrospectively, you can say, oh, that's the maximum price Liron got to, and maybe it will go higher. That's how it works. But I really do believe that there is no ceiling, and if you make art that you really don't want to let go of, and that it's just polished and it's that you put in your all into it, it will find its place, I'm sure. Traditionally speaking, I went out of my comfort zone this last summer and entered 3 paintings in 3 different categories, like in contests. That's cool. And took first place in all. Are you kidding? This was of great encouragement to me. Yes, and that's the market, answering your question, basically telling you yes, it is worth probably more than you think. So way to go. Very happy to hear. Jan's art. Even if I never sold a thing, I would have to create. It's who I am. Exactly. Yes, that's the thing. You can't really. That's how you know it's real. You can't stop. It's the path of least resistance. YH, I love your Kentaro Miura Berserk video. Are you going to cover more manga anime artists that make use of watercolor, like Takehike Inoue? Oh, I know this artist. I think you mispronounced the last name. Inoue. Let me find it. Or maybe I'm mistaken. Let's see. Takehiko. Oh no, you were correct. My bad. Takehiko Inoue. Yeah, I'd be happy to. Oh yeah, he's the artist from what's it called? Vagabond. Yes. Or Hayao Miyazaki watercolor work. You know what? I can do that. It's pretty much a niche. It's not what most of the people here are interested in, but I could do that for sure. Cover Takehiko Inoue's watercolors. It's watercolors, so people will be interested. Actually, I take that back. Hayao Miyazaki. Yes, I'd love to do that. I'm not doing as many painting masters. There's no real reason. I should do a couple of more soon. Thank you so much, though. I'm happy you enjoyed the Miura Berserk video. Yes. Yeah, I can do that for sure. Yeah, Hayao Miyazaki, I think someone or a couple of people have requested before. You know what's funny, by the way, about Inoue? I started reading Vagabond and I kind of got bored. And I know it wasn't never officially ended, so I just kind of was okay with that. I don't know. Vagabond never captured me as a story. Berserk, though, that's a different story. But yeah, I can definitely do that. Yes, definitely. Jacqueline, advice: if you post your art on your social media and someone wants to buy it, tell them the price and don't discount. If they want it, they will pay it. Someone will come back a month later and buy. That's the thing I realized. You can't really stop people from doing the thing they want. So yes, if someone really is interested in your painting, they'll probably get it eventually. But I will say this. It's a beautiful painting, actually. I want to check that out. I found something really, really nice. How do I duplicate that? There we go. Sorry. But I will say sometimes you have an initial idea of a price and someone offers something maybe lower. I do think there is room for negotiation if and only if you're 100% happy with the price they offer. I wouldn't say, normally you don't want to go lower than, your stated price. But I think there's some room for flexibility if you feel comfortable with it. If you throw in a price that is just what you had in mind, and then looking back, you're like, yeah, I'll be super happy even if I get half of it because the price I offered was way too high, or half is an extreme example, but like 20% off of it. I mean, you can do whatever you want. It's fun to sell art in a way. It's fun. It's a fun thing. So even just for the experience, if you still feel like you got a really, really good deal, by all means, Michelle, hello from France. Have you tried to practice watercolor on paper with gesso cover? I've tried this morning. Result is very surprising. I have never tried it. I know that gesso is used more for canvases, right? So that you can, it's like a primer, so you can put watercolor over a canvas, more, I guess, similar to paper. I haven't. I would be curious to try if it allows me to paint with watercolor over other surfaces, or maybe like a Yupo board, something like that. So when you say surprising, in what way? It sounds like you're happy with it, so I'm curious to hear. Maybe I'll give it a go. Wendy, hello from Minnesota, USA. Thank you for being here. Joshua, goodbye, Liron. I have to go now. Thanks for this video and stay safe. Thank you so much. Yeah, and I think we'll wrap it up soon. It's been an hour and 38 minutes. I think it's a good point. If you have any other questions, feel free to drop them in the channel. I kind of get a couple of last ones, and maybe I'll go over just real quick the paintings I've shown you. I've shown you this one on Instagram now, if you can go there, and on Facebook too, by the way. I posted it. Drop a like, let me know your thoughts. That would be great. This scene that I turned into this scene that I'm going to turn into a painting that I'm quite happy with where it's at so far. This building a lot of people liked, so thank you so much for that, and thank you for watching, and thank you for dropping a like on this live stream, and thank you for liking the posts and following. I really do appreciate that. A fellow Minnesotan, my starting price was $1 square inch. Every year I increase it a bit because I get better every year. But people invest in art, so keep that in mind. Yes, that is true. I increase my prices also because people invest in art. So you want to make sure you always increase your value if you can. And by the way, now I don't. I used to do that, like thinking about the dimensions for the pricing, and I no longer think of it. I have an instinct now. I kind of know what would make sense, but that's over years of experiencing, figuring out, selling, and then understanding how I feel about it. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Thank you so much, Gina. My name, have a good one. Buck, thank you so much. Thank you for this chat and opportunity to be part of the Watercolor world. Yeah, thank you so much. I honestly, I always say this. I just really enjoy sharing the art and sharing the process. And, if someone learns something along the way, that's great. Never feel like you need to learn anything from me. There's no shoulds, there's no rules, there's nothing. Avoid them at all costs. Just make your own art. Thank you so much, Nancy. Follow the path of least resistance. It's there. It may be different from my path. It'll probably be different from many other paths. It's up to you, though, if you want to find it out. Thank you so much, Jan's Art. Thank you, everyone. Much appreciated. I will end the stream. I will check out the Saturday's video. It's going to be out on Saturday, kind of usual morning US time. It's going to be a long, super long video, but I think you'll like it in 4K. Most of it will be pretty high quality. Thank you so much, Christine. Much appreciated. Thank you, Marjorie. If I ever get back to painting, I want to paint my daughter's web pictures of Martini Goddess. That's cool. Yeah. Any personal painting subject will always look better for sure. Thank you so much, Gina, for the super chat. Much appreciated. Thank you so much. I'm always blown away whenever I get one because it happens rarely, and I'm so happy about it. Kathy, thank you so much. Oh, Kathy, I think, or did you email me? I think I answered someone via email, but thank you for the kind words. Cubs win. Thank you so much, my friend. Happy to see you here always. Thank you so much, Jacqueline. Also, Liron. Oh, now it's a teaser, Christine. Okay, let's see what you're gonna say. But yeah, I always say this. I'm just so happy to share. I would share if there was 2 people watching because I don't know. It's what I do inevitably. So that's kind of where I'm at. Oh yeah, let's see. If you have PayPal, they take out less than YouTube for donations. Yes, indeed. Yeah, yes. Feel free to email me. You can find the email in the channel. I can let you know. I also do the Patreon and everything. Oh yeah, check out the Patreon. People keep telling me I should push it more, so check it out. There's a link in the description box if you want to support me there. There are some exclusive processes you may want to look at. Marjorie, hello. I have to catch up tonight on YouTube. Yes, thank you. You'll enjoy it. It's a casual stream. Hola, Liron. Saludos desde España. Thank you so much, Juan. Yeah, we will wrap it up for today. Take care. We'll see you on Saturday's video and next week's videos and live streams. Till next time.